Hi there, Tim Bauer here from LiveVideoGuitarLessons.com with the practice tip of the day. This one is for the beginning player, and today I want to kind of cover the basics of finger picking. There are lots of different things you can do with finger picking, and as the name implies, by the way, we're not using a flat pick, we're going to use our fingers. Certain things you can do with your fingers that you cannot do with a flat pick. Other songs, you can do it with a flat pick or finger picking, but finger picking is either easier or sounds better or something. And we're not going to get into all the different kinds of styles, but you can do stuff like I don't know. Just to give you a couple of examples, we do something like maybe this. That's kind of more of a pop style, or we could kind of countrify that or balladize that. I know those aren't really words, but make a ballad out of it. Do the exact same chords, and you get something like. And don't miss your bass note like I just did. Let's see. Sometimes you just want to hit. You have to kind of keep a rhythm going with a bass note. It's kind of like playing two different things at the same time, and that's more of a blues style. You kind of like kind of get the rhythm going, keep a rhythm going here. And some of those hit at the same time, and some of them hit with a thumb, and some of them hit between the thumbs. And the thumb is kind of keeping just a steady rhythm. So anyway, like I said, lots of different classical guitar, of course, lots of different styles. But I just want to kind of get you started in the right direction and make sure you don't develop a bad habit, because usually when I introduce this to my students, their hands drift to the wrong place. You want to make sure the number one thing that messes people up finger picking is the thumb over here. You have to get your thumb away from your index finger. You have to skew it over to the side. And if you don't skew it over to the side, it's going to be smashing into your index finger all the time, and it's going to cause a problem for you when you have to pick strings that are next to each other. So just kind of keep that in mind. Page 1 of roughly page 1, maybe it's page 2, of the classical guitar book has a picture of your hand like this, but viewed from the top. At least classical guitar book 100 years ago when I was first learning how to play guitar. And if you put your eye right down the shaft of my pencil over here, not over here, you won't see it, but right like where I'm sticking this through there, you'll see that the strings form, you'll see a triangle there. The base of the strings forms one side of the triangle, the inside of your finger here forms another side, and the inside of your thumb forms the third side. So it doesn't matter how big the triangle is, and you have to put your fingers in the strings to do that, or on the strings. It doesn't matter how big the triangle is, but you have to have the triangle there, otherwise your fingers are going to be hitting each other. And you certainly don't want your thumb behind. Let's see if you can see that. You certainly don't want your thumb back here. And a lot of times people try to finger pick that way, and because they're trying to use the tip of their finger. You don't use the tip on the thumb. You don't use the tip of your thumb. You use the side of your thumb, and you do kind of a rolling motion like that. You do use the tips of your fingers. And don't try to snag them with your fingernails. A lot of times people think that's how you do it. Classical guitar players do have long fingernails, and they do end up getting a lot of the attack with their fingernails. But just, and if you want to play classical guitar, you should grow your fingernails out the way you like the tone. I don't like long fingernails. I leave just a little bit of nail, so I catch the string just a little bit with the fingernail. Mostly it's with the skin. So, okay. I think that should do it. I just kind of want to, I really like to caution everybody against finger picking wrong, because I see people they develop that as a bad habit, having their thumb in the wrong place, and then it just stunts their development. They can't finger pick anything that's even remotely complicated because they're holding everything wrong. And by the way, one last quick thing. Classical guitar players, two last quick things. Classical guitar players play like this, and this stool I'm sitting on is not great for that because I have a chair leg right there. They sit on this leg, and the idea is it gets your thumb and your hand over here in a good position. If I'm playing classical guitar, I do play that way, but I tend to just play on the same knee that you know most guitar players do, and to kind of get that same action out of my hand there, if I'm strumming my guitar, the edge of the guitar usually hits me right in the elbow, right where my elbow bends. If I'm playing an acoustic guitar, to get more on top of the strings, I usually come up a little bit, about maybe about inch and a half higher on top of the guitar, and about 2.5 inches higher on my forearm. And I'm just kind of shifting the guitar around that way, and that gets it where my fingers are, if I'm relaxed, my fingers are kind of pointing just straight across the strings. They're perpendicular to the strings. And I have to remember to throw my thumb over that way, and that's the right position when you're sitting like that. Sometimes when you see, it makes a difference which finger you use, by the way, too. Some tabs, they're marked, but they're markings that you're not going to be familiar with. On the picking hand, they're marked, this is P, your thumb is P, your index finger is I, your middle finger is M, and your ring finger is A. You don't use your little finger. I'm not trying to discourage. Traditionally, people don't use their little finger. If you can come up with some way to do it and have a new sound, make yourself a boatload of money, feel free. All right, the P-I-M-A. So a lot of times on tabs, it'll tell you, and sheet music, it'll tell you which finger to use based on just put a P under there or an I. And a lot of times you're covering more than one string with your thumb. You do this, and it makes a difference for the pattern which one you use. By the way, I know I'm going to mangle the pronunciations here, but those are Spanish words for the digits of your hand. At least that's my understanding. I can't speak Spanish. But P stands for, I know I'm going to mangle it here, but pulgar, I think is how you say that. P-U-L-G-A-R. I is indice, I-N-D-I-C-E. M is not for middle, it's for medio, M-E-D-I-O. And A is for annular, A-N-U-L-A-R. So we don't have to make a spelling test out of it. I just wanted you to know what the markings mean. So anyway, have fun with that. Just avoid the bad habit, and learn how to finger pick right in the right position, and you'll be able to develop a nice finger picking style for yourself, and you won't get stuck having difficulties later on down the road. So anyway, thanks for tuning in for this practice tip. Tune in again tomorrow for another one, and I will see you next time.